10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, everybody. I'm really excited about this show today. I'll be joined by my co-host, Dan Devlin from Monterey, California, the great superfan Dan, terrific guy. And together we produce this show. It's a lot of fun. And this week we're stepping out of our area just a little bit. We've invited Tevin from the Toon Army Dublin, or what is it, the Irish Mags. They have several names, or maybe I get them confused, but Tevin is joining us from Dublin, which is very exciting because a lot of Americans go through Dublin or go through London on their visits to the UK and on their visits to Europe. And we want you guys to be familiar with Tevin and his club so that you can stop in and watch a match with him. So let me just go right to these guys. Here's Dan.
Hey, John.
How are you?
I'm good,
and we're gonna just invite Tevin straight in.
There's Tevin.
What's the story, John? What's the story, Dan? How are you?
What's the crack?
He's on it already. Yeah, nice. And thank you for the opportunity to speak from an Irish man's perspective. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun today, just kind of talking to your audiences and yourselves today. You know.
Yeah. So I was talking to Tevin just online just a little bit, and I said, well, we've already set our time for this week, but if you'd like to come on our show, please do. And I said, and in fact, if you want to invite some other people, why don't you do that? And he said, John, mate, it's 8 p.m. in Dublin. They're all in the pub.
They probably would jump on, but everybody's out and about. Obviously, unfortunately, Ireland and England were playing for the Six Nations as well. So a lot of the boys and girls were kind of out. But sure, look, we'll get them. Probably better off getting them in the daytime than the nighttime.
Well, we're happy that you reached out because we watch on Twitter. We see all the different clubs around the world post their pictures, and you've got a good crew. I'm going to try and get some of those pictures on, and actually, I'm just going to jump to one right away. Here's a good one because
thanks, Brian.
He captured several different pictures.
They're the boys. So that was just that was the Wolves game. So we had a lot of kind of Irish mags as we do, kind of traveling for home games. As you know, obviously Ireland's beside the UK. It's a 40-minute flight to Newcastle. So a lot of the lads kind of go over when we get a home game, and like it's great to kind of go over together, to showcase that community. So as I said, it's not just about the game; it's the experience in the day. When you're going over, you're arriving in Newcastle at 10 a.m. You want somebody to kind of have to have a drink with, to pre-game chat, etc. But to feel as part of a community. So all the lads usually go together, and we usually have a ball.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great. Now, do you guys go on Ryanair to go to Newcastle? Is that the easiest way, or Aer Lingus?
Yeah, it's usually two denominators. Whatever is easier and whatever is cheaper. So wherever gets us there is fine. Obviously in Ireland we have limited flights on a Saturday, on a Friday as well. So the lads kind of need to make the choice in terms of what time. But really and truly, if we can get the Ryanair, it's grand. But we'll get the Aer Lingus if the Ryanair is full. But usually both of them are early flights Saturday morning. So we usually kind of get there around 10 to 12 p.m. 10 a.m., 12 p.m. Making sure that there's no delays. But
I think you hit on something. It's nice to get there early, and then it's nice to get the warm up. You get warmed up when you're hanging out with a bunch of people drinking pints, and that's the way to get ready for a game.
Yeah, definitely. You don't need to tell an Irish person twice to drink. Well, we kind of balance it as well with kind of food and stuff like that and pre-match chat. But like the Guinness is always layering, But as I said, no, it's fantastic what we have there, and that's why the Irish Mags kind of set up to kind of get a community going. I know we'll talk about kind of origins of the Irish Mags, but the main thing a few years ago when it wasn't set up is a lot of people would travel over, but nobody would talk to each other. So you'd have lots of the Irish kind of people traveling to Newcastle and be alone in the morning, and then after the game as well, when there's dozens of Irish people that go over. So we chat to the Geordies, but we wouldn't chat to ourselves, which is really funny. So this community, it's all about kind of bringing people together, whatever race you are, diversity, etc. Walks of life. But it's really great to kind of, when you're going to Newcastle, you're experiencing that game or that day with the community.
Yeah. So good.
There's Lone Wolf. I was saying, hey, Mighty Mag. Just going through the comments real quick.
Yeah, I was kind of breezing through. Go ahead.
So Steve, sorry, Tevin. So I have to ask the obligatory questions. How did you become a Toon fan?
I think I didn't have any choice. So my auntie actually married a Newcastle local that lives in Danwell. So Christmases, summers, just random weekends where I was shipped to Newcastle in the UK. I spent a lot of time in Newcastle when I was younger, and my uncle just kind of brought me to games and kind of, I was just immersed in terms of Newcastle culture, etc. And then ever since then, I just continued to go to games, and just continued to go to games, meet up with kind of Geordies, etc. Cousins, Newcastle was brought into my life very early. And then, it was ever since.
All of my friends so I have a connection to Dublin. I have some very close friends. I consider them family. They used to live in Finglas, but they went to college in North Carolina, where I went to college. So we became really good friends in college. I was the best man in their wedding, and they're still back in Dublin. They are both involved with the football at Phoenix Athletic.
Okay.
Kay is the head coach for the women's team, I think, and Carl is involved with the men's side of things. And then my wife went to Trinity College as an exchange student back, 20 some years ago. But she spent a year at Trinity and lived out in Rathmines. So, and then she has cousins that are on the south side of Dublin, and pre-COVID. Cousin Sarah used to come over and spend Thanksgiving with us for a number of years. So Dublin's a very special place in our family. So I can understand the connection there. Almost all of the Dubliners that I know, other than Carl's dad is a Villa supporter, but everybody else I know either supports Liverpool or Manchester United. So that led to the question about how did a Dubliner become a Newcastle fan? So
Well, everybody makes mistake when you're supporting Villa. It's okay. But look, we should get you Irish Mags membership yourself. You have a lot of kind of background in terms of Ireland and Dublin, etc. But that's fantastic, and it kind of shows that it's a small world. Everybody's connected in some way. Obviously, pre-show we were talking, and you were talking about Phoenix Athletic, etc. Like that's very close to me. So it's funny how small the world is, but it's great that we're all talking together to kind of understand the connections.
Yep.
Yeah, Tevin, I'm like Dan. I have a connection with Ireland too. Of course, my father was born in Newcastle, England, but originally family, if you connect my mom's family and my father's family, they originated in Ireland. And so in 2005, I finally got to go over. Took my wife and my daughter, who's now 31 years old. She was only like 12. But we went over and we had a wonderful trip. We mostly spent it around Dublin. But I found out there is a man named Jack O'Hare who owns a pub in Newcastle, Northern Ireland. So I got the family in the car and we drove up there. It's like 3 hours north, windy roads. I'm not used to it. It's like, and I'm driving, over there. It's an experience, but we found that Jack O'Hare, and I got pictures from the pub up there, and I got a shirt from his place and everything, and that's where my family originated. Was the O'Hare side is from up there, so I got a connection with Ireland and England, and ever since I retired, I've been really diving deep into it. and it's always fun to come there. My wife and I like to go along the coast in Dublin. We try to stay in Dublin. We went a little south of Dublin. I forget the town now, but there's a really grand hotel there.
Yeah.
We stayed there. And then we always like to go to Greystones or some of the other small towns along the south coast, just straight out of Dublin. Easy train ride, easy day.
Yeah.
Get off the train, walk straight across the street into a pub and enjoy a nice meal, and then come back to the hotel. That's a day for me.
You know, but it's nice, you know. And as I said, like, we have kind of Irish Mags members from all around Ireland. So from Cork, Galway, talking about Northern Ireland as well, Dublin, Sligo, etc. So like, even for the people listening, in terms of coming to kind of Ireland and Dublin, you'll kind of you'll understand from talking to Irish Mags. There's lots to do, you know, and lots of great places to see, you know. But obviously, yeah, you need a couple of days to kind of go through if you're trying to do a tour all around Ireland. But yeah, there's you know, you can do so little or so much as long as what you want to do, you know. So I love Ireland, you know. I love that I've been here all my life. Like, even St. Patrick's Day is coming up next Sunday, you know. We like, if you've experienced St. Patrick's Day in Dublin, yeah, you'd understand. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. I knew you were part of the Irish Mags, but I wasn't sure exactly if you were from Dublin. It's good to hear. Now, where is the bar? I think it's near Temple Bar that you guys meet at. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so basically, just history about it. It's called the Bleecker Street Bar, Dublin. So the head chef, Johnny Leahy, he used to be the head chef with Newcastle United in the 90s. So we're talking about in terms of Esprit, Shearer, kind of Andy Cole days. So we have a strong link with him. And we were actually in another bar kind of a few years ago, but just before kind of last season when we were chatting to Johnny, it just made sense, you know, with Newcastle Sports Group, ex-chef of Newcastle United. And ever since then, that's our home. So it's in Dorset Street. That's where all our community go. And it's not just kind of Dublin as well, because we are the Irish Newcastle United Sports Group. So we have places in Cork, Galway, and kind of up north in terms of Northern Ireland as well. Yeah. But what I would say, the special atmosphere that we create in terms of the Bleakers, it can't be topped, you know. For the Sunderland game, we usually have 2 floors where it's a working bar where everybody kind of goes there to kind of drinks and rugby, etc. When the Newcastle game is on, he gives us a floor.
That's fantastic.
The Olympics could be on, but the Newcastle will get the big TV. You know, we'll get the whole floor. That's the way it goes. You know, Johnny knows. But it's just the atmosphere and it's the experience. As I said, like, we're really big on terms of community and experience. So it's not just about, Wolves at 3 p.m. It's meeting the lads at 1 p.m., having a few pints, catching up, long week. Everybody's working hard, etc. And just kind of, you know, just having a bit of crack with Newcastle fans and chit-chatting, you know. But obviously, we want to win, and when we lose, the place is silent. It takes a while, and then we get our flags out, and then we're okay. But we like a win, you know. We like a win, but you know, it's fantastic to have a place, and it's not just kind of Irish Mags. We've now become a hub for people, Geordies in the UK, coming to Ireland for a trip. So we've had a lot of Americans, a lot of Geordies in the UK, a lot of people from all around the world come to the Bleakers because they've heard about us on social media and other channels, etc. But what the comment that they make when they go is, "Thank you so much. I'm really happy I found this place. You made me feel at home, and I'll come back again." So it's wherever you're from, you're welcome to the Bleakers in Dublin.
Well, you know, go ahead.
I know my wife is watching at home, and and all I can say is we've got another destination on our calendar to go, because we last time we were in Dublin was 2018, pre-COVID. So it's been a while. It's good to go over and tune in, and definitely we'll be looking for the Bleecker Street then to catch up with the Mags. That would be fantastic.
You're fully well.
Yeah, I was going to say that's one of the reasons that Dan and I do this show is we're trying to reach all the different clubs around North America and highlight those clubs, because what we have found in visiting several different clubs is that the love and the community that you establish when you go to watch with other Geordies is fantastic.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if you're at St. James or if you're in London or Dublin
or Atlanta or
yeah, you name it. The places we've been: Atlanta, Philly, Denver, Dallas, San Diego. all of them terrific, and they always treat you as one of their own. And Tevin just told us that, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
So, any other questions, Dan? And
no, that's you just summed up what I was going to say. The whole idea about the Barcode Banter show is showcasing all of the fans that are out there. I mean, we're all on social media. We're all over the place. But it's good to get to know the people behind the hashtags and behind the avatars and such. Getting to know them. Yep. There's Mama T just said putting the pub on the list for the next Dublin trip. There you go.
Sure. That's for sure.
So no, I'm just thrilled. So we got Chelsea next on Monday. How we feeling, boys?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you start, Tevin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm confident. I think, there's been a few changes. I think the big thing are we're getting players back, and you can kind of see the changes in terms of performance. My favorite player is Willock, and you can kind of see in terms of, especially Willock's performance against Wolves, we are now starting to kind of perform at the levels we were kind of pre kind of these injuries, It's funny though, if you're kind of thinking about the two most unpredictable teams, it would probably be Chelsea and Newcastle. So this could be 4-4, this could be 1-0, this could be 2-2, this could be 3-2. But I am confident that we can go there. Like Chelsea, really and truly, at the cup game, we should have won. We should have won. We should have got there. But look, this is it. Last game and the last game of the season last season, we were playing with a second string side. I think we drew 1-1. I'm not really afraid of Chelsea. It's just about what Newcastle turns up. It's always on us. So let's see what we do. I think we still the likes of Target and the likes of Pope obviously won't be back, but we still have the likes of Gordon there. We have Wilson. We have Isak. We have a strong team that are going to Chelsea, so there's nothing to fear. But again, the two most unpredictable teams are playing each other. So yeah, let's hope we get out there.
And we also know. I mean, we got some news over the last week. We know that Trippier's going to miss a couple of matches now, due to a calf injury. So that means we'll get to see Livramento in his natural position, which turned out well for us against Wolves. And John and I talked about this last show. In Chelsea, you've got a group of really good players, but the fact of the matter is they're just not a good team. And as you say, Tevin, the unpredictability. I mean, they could be world beaters if they can figure themselves out. But right now they can't seem to put two passes together to make anything work. And now they're going to be they've got the Poch out crowd now that have lost patience with Pochettino. So you never know what kind of feedback they're going to get from their fans as well. So it's going to be an interesting game. I'm just glad that it's on Monday for us. I'm traveling. I'm out visiting family in Kansas, and I was afraid that I was going to miss a match, and instead I'll just have it in the background when I'm at work. So that'll be fine.
I would like to see Dan at work when we score. Dan, to follow up on what you said and what Tevin said, I think number one, the dynamic of the team has changed over the last week or so, right? Because we're getting those guys back, and I'm really excited that Willock and Barnes are back. And now we're going to see what I hope is at least like 70 minutes of Tino Livramento. So those three people really provide a lot of energy to the team. It's going to be a little different for Chelsea when they face us. But that said, it's at their place, and it's a big game for both teams because of where we are right now. If we lose, they've just got a big boost. If we win, I think it's a sign that we've turned the corner, because we would have put together a couple of good games and now beaten Chelsea. So I think it's a pivotal game for both teams. I'm leaning towards we're turning the corner. Okay, we're turning the corner. We've got guys coming back, and we've got Livramento, who has a totally different style of play than Trippier, and it's exciting to see a young guy just moving the ball up the pitch like he does. And then Gordon is nonstop energy. He's terrific for us. So I feel good going into this match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would like to see Murphy start in place of Miggy. I love Miggy, but I think he's had some miles on his legs this season without having the ability to rotate. And even with 9 days between Monday's match and our last match against Wolves, it's just I think he's going to find it hard to keep up the energy level. So I would like to see Murphy get another shout out and finish at least 50, 60 minutes before they bring on Miggy. I'm excited to see Livramento. I'm excited to see what Isak can do against Chelsea. Gordon's going to be Gordon. I'm interested in midfield whether or not we're going to see Longstaff or we're going to see Miley start. We know that Bruno and Willock are going to start if both of them are fit, and it looks like Willock is getting minutes in his legs now that he's back. Miley looked good when he came on the other night. Longstaff has been looking leggy as well, like Miggy. So I'm interested to see what happens there. And with Trippier out, I'm thinking, and Tino's going to start on the right. I'm thinking we're back to Dan Byrne on the left again. And there's a group of fans that aren't going to be excited by that. And what do you do? You put the best team out there that's going to face Chelsea and try and give them fits. That's the only thing you can do. And all play, leads to 3 points is what you want. So that's what we're excited for. So
hey, thanks, Les. We love that.
Thanks, Les.
Stories on this channel are second to none. That's what we want to be about. We want to be about just people oriented. And we love telling stories, love listening to other people's stories. That's why you're here, Tevin. So thank you.
The thing that excited me about Tevin was that you said that the Irish mags are exactly that. It's from all corners of the Emerald Isle. When my wife and I went a while back, I won't say how many years, but we drove the motorway between Dublin and Galway had been improved. So it was only 2.5 hours to get from Dublin to Galway. For me, that's like driving from Monterey to just north of the Golden Gate Bridge into Marin County. When we go, we normally base out of a B&B in Carlingford called the Bay Tree Bed and Breakfast. Connor Woods is the proprietor there, and he's a Michelin-rated chef. Just a wonderful place to stay. But we base out of there, and we'll wake up in the morning, go and have breakfast downstairs, and then he'll say, "Where are you off to today?" And we said, "Well, we're going to drive up to Port Rush." And he says, "I thought you were booked for tonight." And we said, "We are." He said, "You're going to Port Rush and back in a day?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I don't even do that." I said, like I said, it's like driving from home to San Francisco and back. It's not hard.
We're used to it.
And I like driving. So
yeah, me too.
When Connor and his family came over, they were in Los Angeles, and he sends me a text message and says, "Hey, you want to have dinner tonight?" And I said, "Tonight?" I said, "I'll have to get in the car right now, or else I won't make it."
I'm 7 hours away.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a 5.5 hour drive from Monterey to LA. And he said, "Oh," I said, "Go pull out your Google map and look at where Monterey is and where LA is." He's like, "Yeah, we'll see you next time."
Yeah.
So that intrigues me about the Irish mags being so inclusive of everybody. I mean, you've got folks that come from Northern Ireland, you got people from Galway and Cork, and everybody coming in, and then you say the same thing. You, Tevin, can go to any one of those locales and meet up with Irish mags for a game. So that's exciting stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So we have our regional locations as well. So as I said, like it's myself, but there's a lot more to it in terms of committee. So obviously myself and a guy called Jamie Hogan, he's both of us are co-chairs, and then we have a huge committee kind of do different stuff. So John, as you know, we have our podcast, the Irish Mags podcast, where we've done it for the past few months. it's been really engaged in terms of giving a different perspective, an Irish perspective, basically, in terms of Newcastle matters and games, etc., which has gone really well. We've got the likes of Matty from Magpie TV, we've got Warren Barton, ex-Newcastle United player, and a few others lined up. And it's really about giving back to the Irish community and kind of showcasing content from our perspective, our footy Irish kind of gets this perspective. But we do have kind of good lads there in terms of Alan, in terms of Chris show, and then our show host in terms of Paul. But when you talk about the locations, we do have like hubs. So because we are aware in terms of Ireland, not everybody can make it to Dublin for games if it's a 3 p.m. or etc. Like maybe once or twice a season, but people would rather, if you're living in Cork, you'd rather go to Cork for a meal or Galway. So we do have hubs there that kind of each of the guys in the committee that live kind of from Galway and Cork, they set up their kind of locations that for the community to meet. So it's really harnessing the power of the community to kind of get that reach, So it's not just me, everybody involved in the group, to get that community going.
I need to know where the hub in Tipperary is.
If there's two people at a pub in Tipperary, we'll make the hub.
I'm interested in the Galway one. Sue and I, my wife Sue, we took a trip out there. We didn't rent the car. We took the train. It was only 2 hours to get over to Galway, and we stayed there for several nights. And we rented a car once we were there, though, and we went down to Cliffs of Moher. Beautiful, beautiful. It was cold and rainy, and it was just gorgeous, though. And that was a sight I had to see. And we love Galway. That was terrific. So I'll get back there. I think you a recent podcast you had Matt from the Magpie channel.
Yeah,
Matt Willis.
Yeah.
Wait,
so Matt.
Matt. Yep.
Renton. So in terms of the Magpie channel, so no, he's been dead sound. We've been chatting kind of the past few weeks, months. We've met each other a couple of times in Newcastle. I just kind of said to him in terms of our Irish Mags community, we consume a lot of kind of UK kind of content in terms of Newcastle United. So he was one of the lads that our community wanted to kind of get on the pod. So it was easy enough, and it was great. He enjoyed himself really well, and I think our kind of community kind of enjoyed it as well, and the wider kind of Newcastle United community as well. So it's just giving back. But Matt's a top lad.
Oh, he is. Yeah, we've met him. We usually have, and Dan and I are starting to work on this. I'm also working with a lady from Philadelphia who's going to be over there. We usually have a big get together, and Matty came to the last one we had back in November. We had a dinner, and then we had a happy hour before that, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of people from Newcastle, and a lot of our friends that were over from the United States. We had some Canadian folks that were there for the happy hour. It was a lot of fun, and we're going to do it again. So
that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
We met a whole bunch of people last summer on the summer series when the Premier League came to the East Coast. So we went to all three matches. We went to Philadelphia, we went to Atlanta, we went to New Jersey. But we met people from all over the place. We met Bev and Leah from Chicago. We met Mark and Jane from Orlando. We met Jimmy from Nashville, and then Jamie came over and from Connecticut, John's buddy.
Yep.
When we were over in Newcastle back in May, we met Jamie that trip. So we just ran into all kinds of people and really put our feelers out. And Joseph and his family from Charlotte, North Carolina, the Dire Crow folks, our sponsor.
Speaking of which, maybe it's
I said the magic word, Tevin. Sorry.
I think it's time to put in a plug for these guys, huh?
There you go.
There it is, and use the coupon code BAZ20. You get 20% off of their shirts. They've got a really good assortment of Newcastle shirts that they do, Newcastle themes, right? So the lady here is got the Macam Slayer shirt on. That's a good one.
I haven't seen the NUFC with the AC/DC font. I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, that's good. He's got another one that's kind of a concert font, and on the back it says Magpie Tour 2023, 2024, and it's got a list of all the matches, the dates and everything. And then Dan and I have the one on the right, the Away the Lads.
Yeah.
So they're a great outfit. Joseph and family are great people. Look them up. That's Dire Crow.
Super.
Yeah. So there's a comment for you guys.
It's been almost 6 months since Chelsea sent the manager.
What's the record?
Time's up.
I tell you what, I mean, I was listening. Like I said, I think I said in the last one, I was listening to Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith on Grumpy Pundits the other day on Sirius XM, and same thing. They were just saying, does Poch have even a chance of seeing out the rest of the season? And if he doesn't, who do they bring in? I mean, Nagelsmann is obviously available. Is that something that, for a while there, Newcastle was the poison chalice in terms of management jobs. Now it looks like, if you're stupid, you go to Chelsea, because you're just going to get eaten up, chewed up, and spit out again. And even with billions of pounds worth of talent there, it doesn't seem like anybody is going to be successful at building a team out of that particular stew. And it's hard. What do you think, Tevin? You think Poch has a chance of sticking out the rest of the season? You think he'll go in the summer?
It's difficult. It's these teams, Chelsea, Manchester United, put them the same. I think no matter manager that goes into these clubs, you just don't have control. Like with the Chelsea signings, I think they spent over a million or a billion. Sorry, Like how many of them signings are actually Poch signings? And how much control does he really have? Because at the end of the day, he's just a cog in this kind of massive ship that's going down. And maybe you need to kind of look from the top down in terms of what's actually happened with the club, because they can get any manager they want. Like, remember Graham Potter? Graham Potter was talked about in terms of being an England manager. He went to Chelsea with his chute spit out, gone. Now we don't hear Graham Potter anymore. It's like one of these, don't touch.
Well, they're not going to go back and get Rafa. They're not going to go back and get Jose. They're not going to go back and get Ancelotti. They're not going to go back and they're not going to bring out a retread. They're going to be looking for somebody else. So I'm looking around the landscape and trying to figure out who could possibly be the next Chelsea manager, and would they want that job? That's just like I said, Nagelsmann is supposedly out there as a replacement for Eddie Howe, and it's like, I don't think anybody in their right mind would even think that Eddie Howe's in danger. I certainly don't think so. I think the owners are 100% behind him. I think the club is behind him. I think the roster is behind him. I don't see any concern there. I'm looking at who I just can't think of a name that would be wanting to go. Maybe Man United gets rid of Ten Hag and Ten Hag goes to Chelsea. Maybe that's because he's just not the right fit in Manchester. Maybe Chelsea's the right place for him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the pressure builds on those clubs a lot faster than it does on our club. We did hear a lot of chatter, mostly social media, to be honest, about Eddie out. But in those big clubs, it hits the tabloids, and it hits it's constant. I think it's actually worse at Man United. But there just always seems to be turmoil, and eventually something snaps, and the ownership decides, let's try this, and it's really disruptive to the team. But I don't mind seeing it when it's those teams.
No, not just especially on Monday. If we beat them 4-0 and he's sacked, I'll be happy. Not with 3 points. 100%.
Yeah. So I got a question here. This really wasn't a part of the show, but
there you go.
Very important question about the ballot system today, which I would like to ask. So what is that? I know there's some confusion and some frustration with the ballot. I'll tell you my own experience, and then maybe Lone Wolf can throw the question in. But my own experience, we have two people coming from San Diego for the next 2 matches that Dan and I will be at. And I'm trying to help this father out and his son. So I put in the ballot. I put in one ticket through my account and one ticket through my wife's account in hopes that I could get a youth ticket and an adult ticket. I think Dan tried the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people got rejected and they got an email back saying that they did not, get the tickets for the match. I did not get anything that I've got it or I don't have it. And when I log in, I see my ballot still sitting there. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. So I'm kind of in limbo, but really I'm just trying to help out these other people that I know are going all the way over to Newcastle. That's what we do, by the way. When we go over there, we try and find tickets for anybody who can't get into the match. Yeah. And we've been very successful, but it's always down to the last minute. We got Dan's lovely wife, Tara, in, and she's just a class lady and a big fan for many, many years. And she got to go, and we thank some of the people there at the Strawberry
that helped
Pub,
us out. Yep.
scaring up a ticket.
What do you guys do for tickets, Tevin? Will you guys go over?
Same as well. We all apply for the ballot and kind of see what we can do. But the main thing for us, obviously, is similar to yourselves. Is not in terms of the tickets, but the timing of the tickets, because we could all apply for ballots. But the problem we're having, especially in Ireland, in terms of cost and expense, is the timing when the ballot goes out. So if a ballot's going out a week or two, regardless if we get tickets or not, the prices sky up. Where before the ballots used to come out on time. So not only are we looking at the cost for the tickets, we're actually looking at the cost of traveling over there, similar as yourselves. And you know yourself, a ballot 2 weeks before or 3 weeks before will have a huge impact in terms of the price, in terms of travel and accommodation. So similar to yourselves, we all join and kind of apply for tickets. But then if we can't, we as yourselves, we ask, kind of see if anybody can help us, as a sports club. But yeah, I do know in terms of the international kind of ballots and then kind of domestic and the way they're looking at the stadium in terms of increases, hopefully it will be a situation where if we have increased capacity, it should allow for more kind of tickets to kind of fly all around, because Newcastle United, you can see the supporters worldwide. It's not just in the UK. So it'd be brilliant to kind of see where we're at a point where there's more of a diversity in terms of in the stadium and then also in terms of increased seats, so we can help out more of our members in terms of across the board,
Yeah, I would love to see, and one of those things where there's a dedicated section or something like that for international travelers that could come and get there, or some way of getting those tickets. And when those tickets aren't taken, they are released, 48 hours before the match or something like that, to where, people who are scrambling for tickets, they can get access to them. But it was, there's Tara thanking everybody that helped us get her into the matches last year. Same when we were over in 2018. We have friends that live out in Durham, and they have season tickets. They have 3 tickets, and they've been going for 45, 50 years or something like that. So they've had them in the family for a long, long time. When we came over, it was the 5 of us. So it was just going to be me that went to the match. But then friends of ours said we'll look around and see if we can get you tickets, and Tara and our 3 kids were able to go, and they were sitting way up in rows ahead of the 7th level. But I mean, they got to see the match. I mean, it was fantastic. So but that was pre-takeover, they were giving tickets away. So yeah, I mean, I'm just thrilled to see how successful we are post takeover. Everybody wants the tickets. Everybody wants in, and unfortunately, there's so many people that go wanting because there aren't any available.
It's funny. Like, I remember a few seasons ago when we were in the championship, where you could get 4 or 5 tickets on the day to see Rotherham at home. You could get away tickets. The game before COVID, I think, when we played Southampton, we bet them 1-0. St. Maximin scored. It was 1-0 when we had that dark green jersey. I was able to buy an away ticket, and I was a member. So like before, in terms of the club and the success, etc. And maybe in terms of the pace of change as well, where the club probably didn't think, they probably thought, the current ticket system actually works, and then boom, Champions League, demand has gone sky high. Everybody wants to come into kind of Newcastle to watch games. People who've sold their season tickets now want to get their season tickets back. So everybody's fighting to get into this dome, So I think it goes back as well in terms of the experience, and I know the club are working on these stuff. So when we're going to Newcastle, obviously it's not just about the 3 p.m., it's about the 5:30. Can we do stuff in terms of the dome or kind of fan zones where at least if you're coming with your friends, support groups, etc., the game be shown in a dome, in a fan zone? I know they're working on one pre or post game, but to enhance that experience. So at least if you're going to Newcastle and you don't have a ticket for the game, you can have an experience of watching the game beside the ground with other kind of people, your own and kind of Geordies, etc. So it's that experience, because you're never going to get everybody in that stadium, especially when we haven't got an increased capacity. So what are the other options, I'd say,
Yeah, guys, I had access to talk to the club on this, and they've heard it from so many people. One of the points Tevin made was, if you're international, even if you're only in Ireland, which is pretty darn close, right?
Yeah.
You need more warning, because you're going to fly over. And everybody knows what airfare costs when you wait until 2 weeks before. And 2 weeks before is when you're going to have a ballot shot, right? You're going to have a chance. So we need much more warning. And touching on what Dan said, they've listened. They've heard this from everybody international, which is great. They've accepted that. They understand it, and they're trying to make changes. So one of the things I mentioned was, just like Dan, it's like, why don't you have like a section for international, or just open up those tickets a little earlier? Maybe it's 300 seats. And if nobody puts in for it during that open window, those go back into the general ballot system, but at least you've opened it up for international people, because they're not going to, they need that extra time. They need
the time to make travel plans and such. Yeah.
Because I've never flown over there except in 2018. It was before the season started in 2018, my first visit. We never make plans unless we know we got a ticket. And that's the way most people would be. So I've had to buy really expensive tickets just to ensure that I could take the trip on occasion, go the hospitality route. And that's a much different story. Not everybody can afford that, but it's very expensive, but it gets you in the door. But I've tried the ballot system, but it's only 2 weeks away from when I would normally leave on a flight. I can't base my whole trip on that. So they've heard it, and I feel real comfortable that the people we've spoken to, it's not just me, it's a whole bunch of fan groups around the U.S. Have made that clearly one of their big pressing items. I feel good that they heard us, and now it's just a matter of trying to work it out.
Yeah, I think they are listening as well. We met with the club as well a few weeks ago, to voice our concerns and kind of talk through how we can work together. And there was a lot of overlapping kind of teams coming up, and they are open to listen. And definitely that's one thing that they're listening to in terms of the ballots and the timings, then ballots. So from our contacts, I think they're kind of in agreement that, changes will be made moving forward to kind of accommodate kind of fans outside, kind of looking to get in with transport and kind of accommodation, etc.
Yeah. What else, guys?
Well, tell us about what you're doing this week, because you're not in California, Dan. You're out there in California.
I'm usually in California. This weekend, my father's uncle turned 80 this last Wednesday, so we had a lovely dinner with the family last night. So I came out to represent our family in California. There's 12 to 10 of us out there, or 9 of us out in California, and we're leading busy lives and such, but it's important to make sure that you're involved with these important milestones in family. So that I came out to Kansas, and so I'm currently down in my uncle's basement office, so that I can participate on the show today. So I don't have any of my Newcastle memorabilia hanging around. So the only thing I've got is I've got a pin on my hat.
There you go.
There you go.
That's close enough. And you got the wonderful beard that you color black and white when you go to matches. That's great.
I have to pop into the chemist while I'm in Newcastle and find me a spray can of punky black or whatever, and we'll make it work. Yep.
So, Tevin, do you have any plans to go back over to Newcastle anymore this year?
Yeah, see, I've been to a few games. I think we're going 10 or 11. But yeah, West Ham at home. West Ham at home will be my next game, and that'll be a next game for a lot of Irish mags that are traveling over. A few of us were successful for the pilot, so again, we'll go over, we'll plan a trip and get over. I know some are going for Everton at home as well at the start of April, and then we'll see. Usually, my birthdays are on April 18th, so I think we have Manchester, we have Tottenham kind of the week before, so we'll see. But then it's just the luck of the ballot, But I'm happy I have my West Ham ticket. I'll be in the bar 1892. So again, we'll be planning out the day, kind of seeing where we go. Obviously, the type of bars that we go to in terms of Rosie's, Trent House, we go to Strawberry as well. So you'll see us there. You'll see us in. I don't know if you've seen our flags. We have many flags. Some funnier, some there for branding, some there for just the crack. So we'll be out in numbers, but regardless if I'm there or not, we also have pubs in Ireland. So no matter if I don't get tickets, we'll watch it. We'll watch in the bleakers.
Well,
then we're looking forward to meeting you in person, then, Tevin, because we'll be there for the West Ham and Everton matches. So this will be fantastic.
Yes, it will.
You'll meet our community.
So be watching our Twitter, because we will eventually sort out where we're going to meet, and it's either going to be Friday night or Saturday night. And we'll have a rip roaring time. And if it's Friday night, it'll get us ready for Saturday. Although that's an early match start. It's an
early match, so
it's going to drive me crazy. Or we might meet, afterwards on Saturday night.
Yeah.
3 points against West Ham. There'll be lots of celebrating.
Yeah. Wherever you are, we'll be Irish people will beat you anywhere for a point. So we just appear out of. Yeah.
I was going to say, twist your arm, Tevin.
Yeah.
Just say,
fantastic.
Just send the location.
Yeah.
So we did Rosie's. We've done the Earl of Pitt Street up the street from the pub. We've done obviously the Straub. What was it? It's not called. What was the tavern house that was right at the base of the Tyne Bridge that we went to, and that has the big library, and we hung out there one night for quite a while out on the back patio, and that was a good night.
So right on the river?
No, not that one. The one that was right under the bridge.
The Bridge Tavern. The Bridge
Tavern. There you go.
That was great. Yeah, we had that's where we had our get together on the trip that I had the San Diego mags with me. Yeah, it was great. We hosted a bunch of people there.
Okay.
At any one of those places, I'm working with Kayla from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, and once we get that sorted out, we will blast it to everybody.
Fantastic.
Hey, and then if anybody's watching from the States, I do want to encourage you to get to your local club, whether that be Dallas, Denver, Chicago, Boston, New York, Stamford, Connecticut, Orlando, Miami. Meet up with the people that will accept you right away, and they'll be wearing black and white like we are. Yep. And it's just so much fun. As Tevin has related to us today, it doesn't really matter what part of the world you're in. You walk into that pub and it's just nonstop fun, no matter the result.
I got to get more people in Monterey to come out and support the mags. I'm the Monterey mag. That's it. I've got two other guys that I've known for years that I used to go to San Jose Earthquakes games with. But I think the dad is retired and traveling with his wife a lot, just running around, and the son is a documentary filmmaker, and he's all over the place all the time. So I have not been keeping regular tabs with them enough to say, hey, I'm going down to the pub. You want to meet and watch the game with me? At the same time, Monterey's kind of a sleepy tourist attraction. So aren't a lot of pubs that are willing to open up at 8 o'clock in the morning to watch a match. So, I'm better off just having a cup of coffee and sitting on the couch at home. So
that's kind of my experience, Dan. But it's funny. I met a guy through my next door neighbor. I met a guy that lives right around the corner that his grandparents are from Newcastle. He's a big Newcastle supporter. He and my next door neighbor, are coming over with me. They're actually on a separate trip, kind of like you, and we'll all meet in Newcastle. They're all going to the Everton match. So yeah, I'm building a little following of people here in Norman.
Now you just got to find a pub to base out of, John, and then you're set.
We've talked to a couple of places already, and yeah, it's those early morning starts that get them. Yeah. But we'll work it out. Hey, I don't know if there's anything else we got. Look through.
I was just going to not Newcastle related, but I have to plug Monterey Bay FC start their season on Wednesday night in El Paso. So I'll be hosting a watch party at the Britannia Arms on Alvarado Street in Old Town Monterey. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. So come on down and let's go Union. That's all I can say about that. And then looking forward to the match on Monday against Chelsea. And now I'm really excited to meet even more new people in the tune at the end of the month.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. And a big shout out to Baz, and I'll call him Barry, our good friend who gave us this show and has encouraged us to get out there and talk to other people. Really appreciate your support. And one other thing, we're going to go back and I want to make sure I get this in. Remember to go and get your Dire Crow shirt. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that Macam Slayer t-shirt really looks cool. On the back, it has the number 23 and it says Macam Slayer up across the shoulder blades. It's a good looking shirt. So it's a lot of fun. And Joseph is like I said, great family. Sorry, Tevin, I didn't mean to step on you.
No, I was saying it looks fantastic. I like the AC/DC kind of font. We have a bit kind of merch ourselves. As you can see, I'm wearing one part of it. But we have our own supplier in terms of Irish Mags merchandise. So you'll see us not only, obviously, you see myself kind of in the next game, but you'll probably see Irish Mags kind of wearing the gear. So it'll be handy to start our own private side, our own kind of football team to kind of do stuff for charity, etc. Past few weeks. So the gear will be handy, but the gear came before the football team. That will tell you.
Do you have a merch store for the Irish Mags?
Yeah, we do. So the Irish Mag, so it's on Forza Sports. So we do our own kind of zippies, we do our own tracksuits, t-shirts, etc. So it's more for branding as well, especially when we go to Newcastle as well. And as I was saying to you, a lot of the times Irish Mags kind of we don't talk to each other kind of past few years when we're traveling to games. So even if there's an Irish Mags, because we have 500 in the community, some people might not know each other, but by seeing the gear, they'll walk up to each other in terms of Newcastle or even in the airport and say, "Oh, you're part of that group as well." So it's a way of kind of internal signaling face to face, but also a bit of branding as well. So so we have a full range of kind of merchandise.
I have to go look that up.
Yeah, Tevin, we got to meet up with you, and when we do, we'll do one of these. We'll get you in one of our pictures. We always had
that was in Philadelphia, and it was still 90, 98, 99 degrees outside. But we had been tailgating with the crowd out in the parking lot, and before that we had been what was the name of the pub that was down that they had the fan event there. We had been drinking for quite a bit that day. So yep, we had a great time. And it was a fantastic atmosphere down in that end of what's the name of the Liberty? I don't know. It doesn't matter. We were in Philadelphia. That's when that picture was taken.
Yeah, that was a great trip. We burned a lot of brain cells, unfortunately. But we'll try and we always meet up with our friends. Here we are promoting Monterey Bay FC, which is the team that Dan is a big supporter of. He's well known in Monterey, and we need a picture of you, Tevin, with us in front of the Strawberry or in front of St. James, and we look forward to that.
That'll be fun.
We'll bring our flags.
There you go. Yep, perfect.
Yeah. So,
all right. Tevin, thank you so much for joining us. This has been fun. and we
I know
we
it's a
we
pleasure.
made a new
It's a pleasure.
friend.
Yes. No, it's really been really good, guys. As I said, in terms of Ireland, in terms of Bleakers, etc. Anybody coming down, like, give us a shout out. Like, whether you're going to Dublin, Cork, Galway, it's a community, and it's not just an Irish Mags community. It's a Newcastle United network. So
Yeah.
if you are coming down or you see us kind of at the games in terms of Newcastle, give us a shout. You know, we're all very
Will do.
friendly.
Yep.
Especially when we have a drink in our hand.
Hey,
yeah,
Tevin,
no, look, yeah.
we know what you look like now. We know your face. We're going to be looking for you. You look for either this hat or that beard. Okay. and we'll hang out. We'll have a
We'll
good
be
time.
looking for Irish Mags tracksuits. We'll be looking for those. So
Yeah.
Definitely. Flags are either the flags or either the zippies. Where
Yep,
we stand there
perfect.
like a highlighter.
Excellent. All right.
All
John,
right.
what do you think?
Well, I got to find, let's see. I got to find out where I left off here. This is the old man trying to do two things at once. I think
We've been on a bunch of these shows, Tevin, but this is only our third one that we've done, a fourth one that we've done on our own, that we've hosted. So we're still coming to terms with the software, the StreamYard software and such. So and we want to shout out to Les, the moderator, who's been helping us with the comments as well. So and thanks everybody for tuning in. Mama T, I'll see you tomorrow night when I get home. And yeah, just away the lads.
away the lads.
Yeah.
All right.
Away the lads.
Say goodbye to everybody.
Thanks, Tevin. We'll see
Thank
you
you
soon.
so much, lads.
Yeah, hang on afterward.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
worries.
Stay around.